I'm going to say some things, and the other performers are going to say some things that I promise you we don't really believe, okay? We're playing a character, so please don't go, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Because some of the issues, the big issues that the standards would ask you to reflect would be knowledge of the war in Vietnam, which you probably haven't studied a whole lot yet, knowledge of the civil rights conflict in America, which was, we're talking about the time when Martin Luther King was killed, and it was a very, very delicate time. And then knowledge of the culture, which people refer to as kind of sex, drugs, and rock and roll sort of thing, you know, Woodstock and that kind of situation. So we're going to talk about those things as if we were there, but I just need you to hear me. The most important disclaimer is that we don't believe the things that we're saying, especially the one student who will represent a very racist point of view, which, believe me, there were many at that time. Once we're done with this, he'll break character. You can ask him what he really thinks about these things. That kind of thing. Let me just ask you to do this then. Here's our situation. Here's our context. We're going to pretend that we're on the college campus in Ohio in 1970, right? The college campus is called Kent State University. And something happened there in 1970 having to do with Vietnam and protest and civil rights and that sort of thing, where college students were killed, right? That event has just happened. Has just happened. Now, here's the hard part for you guys. I need you to do as best as you can to forget everything that you know about 2011 and your whole life. I need you to think of yourself as being back there, because we're going to ask you your opinions of things. And don't have, well, I know how it's all going to end, therefore I'm going to be against Vietnam. You wouldn't have necessarily all been against Vietnam at that time. You know, that sort of thing, against the war, or in favor of civil rights. Some of you wouldn't be. So I'm going to ask you to play a part. We're going to ask you your opinion. And the other students that are coming in are going to ask you to take a stand. Young men, we want you guys to go to the jungle of Vietnam to fight the Viet Cong, right? Some of you might be thinking in terms of, no, I'm not going over there. I'm going to Canada. Now keep in mind, there's a draft on. What does the draft mean? You know what that means? You don't have a choice, right? It's illegal to say no unless you leave the country. And that's a big, big issue. That's why a number of these students are protesting at the time. We're going to have some students who will play those who are in favor of the war in Vietnam, some are against. Some in favor of civil rights, some against. Some in favor of drugs and LSD and Woodstock, and some who like Brady Bunch and Andy Griffith and the more wholesome types, right? And so there's a big, big debate. Any questions about what we're going to do? Can you guys play along with us a little bit? Yes. I very much appreciate it. Obviously, Ms. Parker here is going to be at Hippie at the time.
She's loved.
She's done this a lot, and we don't have a script. We don't have a script.
Stay right there.
We're going to let it go where it ends up going. All right. So when my students come in, it's May 5th, 1970. When they come in, they're coming into your college class.
Y'all in college, you are, remember, everything that they say and the way that some of them, they will say things that they do not believe. That's the big thing I want y'all to understand. But for the purposes of living history, it's just like we do the Declaration. There's things you have to do to become one of these people, you know, to experience history. All right? So, I know y'all do get it. We're ready. But it's not questions like what happened at Kent State. No.
Yeah, if it's
they're gonna like I'm very
just gonna say what's that
you know what? I just think everybody should love everyone. What else?
If there's a reference I don't know, if it kind of makes I mean, please, can I say something about the album?
What happens?
I'm gonna stand up and say,
So did y'all hear?
Got shot yesterday. They needed to get shot.
No, seriously, did you hear about the shooting? Yeah, 4 students died.
You should watch the news. You should listen to the news more.
Yeah,
You know,
What happened here?
on the radio. Shame on you.
Well, it happened here. I was surprised no one heard about it.
Our friends are peacefully demonstrating, and they got
protesting.
shot.
The military decided to open fire.
Love, sister.
The war. It's terrible.
Let's sit with the girls.
Who's replaced the chalkboard? Where's the chalk?
In my car.
The chalk in your car. Why'd you take the chalk out in your car? Where's the blackboard?
We wanted to draw on tonight. It's, I don't, it doesn't matter. We don't need it.
How about we write on a whiteboard for you?
What's wrong with black?
The professor's talking, bro. This is a sad day in the history of this university and the history of this country. Somebody tell me what happened here a day or two back. And what happened and why?
Are you talking about those innocent people who were slaughtered?
No, I'm talking about the lawlessness that occurred out here on the...
No, you're talking about people getting shot for no reason.
For no reason?
Yeah.
Those
Explain,
people were out there protesting our war effort. We're trying to stop the communists from coming into our country, which they're here. They're here already. The police told them to stop what they were doing. They were throwing bottles at the police, and they got shot. 4 people died,
That's
9
correct.
people were injured.
That's correct.
They deserve to be shot.
Of course, it was their fault. They were being forced to try to join the military to fight a war that doesn't mean anything to anyone else but this government industry of military and conquest.
I'll tell you something.
I don't even know what that means.
I'll tell you something, beatnik. Back in Fort 42, me and my friends and colleagues, we went to Germany, we went to France, we went to Japan, so that you could be here running your mouth. We went voluntarily. If it were up to you, we would be under Hitler's regime this day. But instead, you and your coward friends don't want to go fight for freedom against the atheist, godless communists. Is that what you want?
Freedom.
Freedom. Are you?
For who? Not for me. Not for my people. Democracy. Democracy's a joke. No democracy here. The democracy of the white people of America. That's what it is.
Communism is equality.
No, it's not. You
You're
just
living
sleep
in
with
this
anything that
country.
walks. Chill out.
Where's your boyfriend?
My boyfriend's in Vietnam.
Yeah, he probably has a Vietnamese girlfriend.
They agree. Well, you'd agree, don't you?
You don't want to admit that, do you? Your boyfriend probably has a Vietnamese girlfriend.
He does not.
Killing babies.
Killing babies.
Your boyfriend was in Vietnam. He'd be sad. Yeah. See, she agrees.
Yeah, because you're fighting a war that doesn't need to happen.
Why doesn't it need to happen?
Well, why are we over there in the first place?
Yeah.
We're spreading peace and love.
Not in the war. They're killing children, for Pete's
They're
sake.
about to have a dictatorship rise. It's already in Cuba. It's continuously spreading. Like you, it's already here. We need to go and prevent it from spreading even more. It's a problem already. That's why people have to sign up. The draft is failing because we have protesters. People like you are refusing to go fight.
The draft is
What are your
stupid. It's
values?
unconstitutional.
What's unconstitutional about the draft? It's been around for, they did it in World War II and I.
Well, guys like Jackson and Monroe, they believe in only fighting a war that you believe in. If you don't believe in the war, you shouldn't have to go over there and fight.
If you don't believe in the war, like Dr. Gardner already said, if people like Chris and other protesters continue to protest, who's going to go fight it? That's why we have a draft. Everybody equally has an opportunity to go. Just like you. Just like you.
They didn't attack us. Why do we have to go to another country and prevent them from being the way they want to be?
A dictatorship.
It's easy. Look at who they're fighting.
Oh, they're fighting
the
a white
little
man.
brown man.
No, they're fighting the brown man. That has nothing to do with it. It's a
You want to see the black man
dictatorship.
over there fighting the brown man. First you tried to load us on a boat and bring us over. Now you want to put us on a plane and send us back.
All I heard you say was.
Sounds like you want to go back, sir. You don't like democracy. Why don't you go back to Africa and live among the savages there?
I'm tired of dancing to your beat. My grandfathers ran. We've been running. We're tired of it. We're out of breath. My people are tired of running. We're not running anymore. We're not sending me away. I'm an American.
It's an excuse. You're using your color as a defense and as an excuse not to go fight for your country.
You tell me why you're over there fighting brown men then.
Why?
Want to send
Who
black
cares
men to
what
fight the
color
brown
they are?
men?
It doesn't matter if they're brown, black, or white. I don't care what color they are. I'm doing it to prevent a dictatorship from spreading and getting here. That's what I'm fighting for.
Could you explain to us what is a communist? I don't think they understand.
It is people like this gentleman over here, the lady behind him, that do not care for our capitalistic ideas, the way our country is run. A communist wants to come in, they want to tell us how to live our lives, the government wants to control everything, and that's not the way that we live. We work hard and we earn our money. Anybody can be anything that they want to be in this country because of the capitalist system. People that deserve to be something, sir. You wouldn't be talking like that if you were down here in Alabama, where I'm from.
That's why I don't go down to Alabama. A whole bunch of average folk.
You got something in your hair there, brother. You got something in your hair. You might want to get that out.
I can comb it.
You comb it in the morning time. I smell marijuana around me, or pot. I think there's been doing drugs around here. Happiness.
You might look at your Bible if you come back.
Do you read the Bible? Occasionally.
Seems to me the fundamental problem here is ignorance. Do you know what communism is? You know what communists believe? You've been smoking drugs, having sex with every guy who walks up and down the street.
Yeah.
Were you at Woodstock? Huh? Were you at Woodstock? You listen to the Beatles?
Who doesn't listen to the Beatles?
Who listens to the Beatles?
Trash.
You listen to the Beatles?
Trash.
Well, I've got bad news for you. Baby. Some Japanese woman's caused them to break up. One of their leaders just recorded another song, and I tell you, it's a communist song. The song says something like this: "Imagine no possessions." That's right. That is the definition of communism. No private property. And then the second line goes, "No religion too." That is atheism. And that's in fact what communism is. No private property and no religion. What was the first communist country? Where was it?
Russia.
Russia. Very good. 1917. What happens after World War II? How many other countries become communist?
A lot.
A lot, right? I mean, Poland, all the Eastern Bloc countries, etc., etc. What happened in 1949? What major country with a billion people in it became communist? That was 1917. I'm talking 1949 now. China. And a year later, they went down into Korea. And my buddies went back over to stop them there. And now, in 1954, they went into Vietnam. Not too many years ago, friends, they came to Cuba. Do you know how far Cuba is from the United States? Who knows?
90 miles.
90 miles. Communism is spreading like a cancer. From 1917 till now, it's spreading. And we need good men like you to be the chemotherapy. Are you going? You're going to stop that spread? It's coming. Look, it comes into Cuba. It's going to go into Florida. It's going to come right up. It'll be in Ohio before you know it. You're going to stop it? Are you going to stop it? You're on the way?
That should all able-bodied men.
You shouldn't have to. They don't want to.
What do you mean?
So you just want to surrender to the atheist? Is that it? You want to have an atheist country, no freedom, no private property? Get your shoes, boy. Your stuff. You like that shirt? So you got that watch on. You like owning that, or do you want the government to own that? Boys, you gonna go?
Oh yeah.
You gonna go?
Yeah, I'm going.
God bless you. God bless you.
Don't go.
Now I've heard some nonsense. I've heard some nonsense. Some girls want the right to be drafted. You don't want that, do you? You're not that.
Girls.
No.
Like in the war.
No.
There's all this talk about equal rights amendment, this, that, and the other.
I don't recall
Wait. Let's hear from this crazy woman here.
My mama did and her mama did.
Listen here.
If women were in charge, there would be no wars.
No, that's wrong. A woman's role is in the house, taking care of her husband, being faithful to her boyfriend, like David's fighting Vietnam. So I'm stuck getting an education just in case he gets hurt, which he won't, and he's not dating a Vietnamese woman. He is
Yeah,
fighting
he's
for
probably
How do you
dated
know
several
these
Vietnamese
things?
women.
because he writes home.
He writes home, so you take what he writes.
And that's what Nixon says a good woman is supposed to do, and that's what
Nixon's
we
a
do.
joke.
Nixon is not a joke.
He is.
How you talking about the leader of our country like that? A joke?
It's a free country, isn't it? That's what you guys keep
I feel
saying.
his history.
It's a free country. Think about.
It's
my-
a country.
No,
You don't
I
want to fight
agree
the war,
with
you don't
that.
have to fight.
If you don't want to fight, you don't have to fight. But like Gardner said, you're talking about communism. Do any of you guys like what you believe in, your religion? How many of you believe you should be able to believe what you would like? Or own whatever you would like?
God bless
Right
you.
on.
If you should own and do those things, maybe you might have to defend that sometimes. We have people in here now already. We have communists in here. It's spreading. It's already here. We
Where
need
are
to
you
prevent
from?
it. Where am I from?
Because it's not the United States.
I'm not from the United
No.
States.
I was just wondering.
And
What'd
you-
you say?
Well, I'm just gonna say, man, who's he defending against, man? There's this.
He's talking to the voices.
I know, it's like mankind is just one thing, you know, we're all together in this thing. We all have one world, we all live together. You're fighting over little trivial things, and we can all just,
You know, you need
live
to go to
together,
Jamaica and hang out with Bob Marley for a little while.
oh, I've no problem. Yeah, I'll go.
I can't even breathe over here. I'm telling you.
Oh, I love that.
Marijuana is an illegal drug. Did you not heard, you've not heard that?
It's about experiencing.
Legal by who? You know, by who's means. The government-
Again, I
the
thought we had
government's just telling
choices
us-
in this country.
You want to be free to do whatever you
The
want, but you want to
government's
restrict
controlling
what I
the
do.
drugs.
You are not free to impinge on someone else's
Exactly.
freedom.
And I haven't been called. Yeah.
When you fought, sir, I know my
I
father.
was at the Battle of Midway, the turning point of the war.
I know.
Proudly.
Thank
I'm
you,
a
sir.
listener.
Thank you for that, sir.
I would show you my
You
room, but it's
don't
probably
like
not
her.
proper.
I've seen a few, my
Thanks.
uncles and all that, but what? Didn't we have morals and values in this country and integrity and ethics? What happened to that? What happened to these people right here getting so uppity and acting like they run this country?
You're uppity right now. Have something for down here.
Uppity.
That's why you don't like communism.
She's asking for drugs.
You're mad that you don't own us anymore. You want those possessions back. Guess what? You can't have us.
What movement are you leading, sir?
I'm about the what? If you're gonna speak up, speak up.
He said the black people movement.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's time, you're sitting here talking about this freedom. Freedom for who? It's not democracy for the black man, it's hypocrisy for the black man. You have freedom of possessions, right to do what you want. We don't have that right. We don't.
So
That's
just
why we're
because you're
fighting
black,
for
you
it.
can't dodge like Cassius Clay. You can't go running off and saying you're not going to Vietnam. Just
You're
because he's
saying-
black.
Fight to fight who? You want us to fight these people because you don't agree
you
with
don't
what they do.
defend
Again,
your
same
own
thing with the
freedom.
black people. You don't agree with
He got his hair
Yeah.
cut. He went to Germany.
He's just,
Today we have this boxing champion, Cassius Clay, who I think has changed his name to Muhammad or something like that, some kind of Muslim nonsense. But he has refused to go to Vietnam because he's colored. That's it. He thinks that colored people, like this gentleman does, deserve special rights because they're colored.
We
should
never
have
have
to
to
war if
fight
they
over
want
to
to.
kill black men.
It's not just colored though. What about the other girls in here? What do y'all think about, you know, we don't want violence. I just want everybody to be happy.
that's right.
We don't want to go fight a war that is not on our soil.
They
When it
shot
comes
us.
to
Freedom is
us,
not free, man.
I
It
smell.
is free.
What does that smell on you?
Nothing.
We had a peaceful protest the other day. You reacted with violence. Reacted with violence.
Both of them.
Well, both of them.
Both of them. I
Smell
can't
like
breathe. I
bullets.
wish there was another seat available.
Smell like
Here.
racism.
It's getting
Hey,
weird over here.
my man over here is bringing up the fact about the violence that occurred on this very campus.
Dig it?
I do dig it.
All right.
Were they not throwing bottles?
They were throwing bottles.
That's
What
a
happened?
Police
That's
officer.
assault against a weapon.
They were not.
It was broadcast.
A bottle is a
It was
weapon. Someone
broadcast
tells you
on
have to do
the
something,
nation.
you do it, you deserve to get
Trying
shot.
to shoot at us. What are you gonna do? I'm
I
gonna
hear
get the closest thing I got.
Nixon's supposed to come over and do a
You're
actual
complaining about
announcement.
When a police officer asks you, tells you to stop right there, and you don't stop, what's going to happen to you?
Gonna get shot.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Those police officers told those students the other day,
Speaking up for themselves.
cease and desist.
Yeah.
Stop, halt what you're doing. They continued to throw things at them, and as this brilliant young lady said, they got shot. What kind of music do you listen to? David Cassidy, very good. You know, Bobby Sherman, that sort of thing. Have you heard of this new fellow? He's very good. Barry Manilow.
Oh my gosh.
He's very, very good.
What about Jimi Hendrix? You listen to Hendrix?
Jimi Hendrix is good.
Come on, Woodstock. Yeah, Woodstock. You didn't even go to Woodstock?
That's good stuff.
I was intense. I was intense.
Jimi Hendrix was in the army.
Sir, you asked the question, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. John Lennon and Paul McCartney came to the United States, started doing LSD, started smoking drugs, and then started pushing this anti-war movement. And now all of these baby boomer hippies have gotten hold of this thing. And they're making life hard. Poor Lyndon Johnson couldn't even run for president in '68 because they're camped out at the White House.
Hey, Torres, did that baby throw a bottle at you before you shot it?
Baby killers. Well, what's this idea of baby killers? That's just more protesters feeding you garbage and you buying into it. I'm fighting against whoever has a gun shooting at me.
My boyfriend would never kill a baby. He would never kill a baby. They agree.
Protesters feeding garbage and buying into it. You're recruiting people. What are you feeding? I'm recruiting people. We go to war for a reason. You're saying I'm feeding people garbage. That's exactly what I'm saying.
No. I'll tell you what's
Getting drafted.
This is Mama talking.
Looks like you're from down around Auburn, is that right?
Yes.
Callie, is he a hero or a villain? Did you hear what he said? He
He's
said
a murderer. He's a murderer. Are you kidding me? Callie's a murderer.
They're putting this lieutenant on trial at a place down called Fort Benning near Auburn, Alabama.
He don't tell you his side.
Just because he went into Vietnam, just because he did his job,
He killed. How many people
taking
did he
care
kill?
of the guerrilla warfare of the Viet Cong. Yes, he went in, sure. He shot, he had his men shoot at some old ladies and some children. But do you know that the Viet Cong used those people as decoys? They strapped bombs to their bodies. You can't, what would you do if your superior officer tells you, I know better than you? That person that looks like an old lady, but really it's a Viet Cong young man in a disguise. You gonna kill it or not?
So every time a little Asian baby has a load in its diapers, I'm going to assume that's dynamite. That doesn't make sense. You're just going killing everyone. What type of excuse is that? He's a murderer. Callie's a murderer.
Read the newspaper.
Oh, please.
Read the
The
reports.
newspaper is controlled by the government.
If it weren't for cows, you wouldn't be sitting here in freedom, sir. If it weren't for me, you would be in Berlin right now, worshiping Adolf Hitler statues.
Yeah, I'm sure that's
Where are they strapping these bombs to themselves at? Are they in your backyard? Sitting on your porch with a
They
bomb?
will be.
They're in
There
their
will be.
place, their country, their home. And we're going over
Didn't you
there.
just hear the...
Strap the bomb, go boom.
Go back to your home. Africa.
There's something about
You brought
colored
me
folks
over
that
here,
don't
brother,
get
remember
this,
that.
but you understand, look, 1917 to now, it has spread just like a cancer. You never heard of cancer, have you, sir?
Absolutely. White America.
Once it starts right here, takes over your whole body if you don't stop it. Communism started with Marx and Lenin, and it's right at our doorstep. You don't want to do anything about it. You want it to come and take over us, right?
Sir, I think I'd look at, how about the American Revolution? How about the Civil War? How about World War I, World War II? Black men all up in there fighting for their country.
The Civil
Don't
War
give
was
me
to
the black people don't want to fight for their country. You guys don't want to give us the freedoms that you enjoy
The
every day
Civil
in this
War was
country.
to give you
I'm not
freedom,
fighting
but
for
you know what, if you were in the Civil War, you'd say, no, keep me in slavery. I don't want to have, I don't want to go to fight
I'm
for
not
anything.
fighting for you.
Explain,
Okay.
explain what the Civil War was all about.
The Civil War was about one thing and one thing only. It was about states' rights. Okay, that's what it was about. The federal government want to tell the states how to run their life, and the states
Just like
how
they're
to
trying to tell us how to
control
run our
themselves.
lives.
Okay.
We can't do what we want. There's no real freedom. That's the government trying to control our lives. I think it's probably time for us to do the same thing, to stand up for ourselves. And that's what we did just a couple days ago. And we were shot right in the middle of the campus.
Welcome to
You
our
were
world.
shot. You were
Welcome to
shot.
our
You
world.
wouldn't be here.
He
Don't
was
say you were
there.
shot.
all
Us,
participated.
people, the common mankind.
I want to ask the ladies in the room, because it's mostly ladies, do you think it's right for these boys to be here in Ohio rather than over in Vietnam defending your liberties?
This kid's getting a free education.
He's playing football.
I'm
Please, in
I'm
Ohio?
signed up.
In Ohio.
Hey,
What do you think, lady?
That's where I can play.
What do you think?
I'm not that
Shouldn't
good.
they be over fighting for you?
Yes.
They should be over there, shouldn't they?
I'm gonna go there next
Yes?
year.
Yes? I've got a pretty good class here. Most of them understand freedom. They understand the threats of communism.
Freedom. It's the 20th century.
And what do you
Black
think of
man
this
had to
loudmouth
sing,
colored fellow over
We
here?
shall overcome.
What do you think
We're
of
having
him?
to sing we shall overcome in the 20th century. Our
He's
government has
uppity.
failed us.
Call this a
Talk too
cancer.
much.
Freedom is not threatened by communism.
You are a
Freedom is a chance to choose communism.
There was a time when the colors weren't uppity, because when they got that way, they ended up at the end of a tree.
These girls understand.
See, there we go. And that's my freedom.
And then as soon as we pass a few laws in 1964, it turns them into just crazy people. Loud-mouthed, obnoxious, draft-dodging, pot-smoking, dancing, having sex with every white woman they see.
By the way, Dolores, what are you doing after this?
Huh?
What are you doing after this,
Oh,
Bob?
what do you want to do?
You know.
What are you doing?
I'm opposing the draft. You know, if you want to fight the war, you can fight it. But you know, people like me and him, we shouldn't have to fight the war for the war.
People
You're
like
comparing
you.
yourself to the black man?
I'm fighting my own war.
You've lowered yourself that low?
Because of an ignorant white man like you, I'm going to stop singing. It's no more we shall overcome. I'm going to stop singing. I'm going to start swinging.
Start swinging.
Oh, yes, sir.
Right now.
See, the Civil War is coming right here. It's coming right
I
here.
got something. I got a civil war.
Helter Skelter is what they call it.
Where's my white mask?
Race war. There's a fellow, there's a trial going on right now about a man who this man probably worships, and his name is Charles Manson. He's being tried out in California because he tried to start a race war, just with the same words this fellow here just used. As good as we're going to start swinging. Because black people are going to start beating up on white people. That's what Charlie Manson wanted. You know what he did? He went in and killed a bunch of very innocent, pregnant white people.
They chose to kill themselves.
Who chose to kill
The
themselves?
women. And the people who were following them.
Are you part of the Manson family?
My cousin is.
Your cousin is?
He's brother.
Let's not bring that part up.
Have you all heard of this crazy man, Manson? He wants to start a race war in this country. We call it Helter Skelter. Where'd he get that name, Helter Skelter? Anybody know?
The Beatles.
From the Beatles!
Yeah, of course it's their fault. I mean, there's
It's all
always
started
these
with the Beatles.
extremists. You're an extremist, he's an extremist. I mean, there's a middle ground for everyone to agree on and live together and work together.
I fought under the flag. I am no extremist.
We are the middle ground. That's what you don't
You're the middle ground?
Majority.
I'm the middle.
Oh,
We are the middle ground.
Stuck a little on you.
You ain't on the fringe.
You're willing to give it from you.
I love man.
Okay, we are going to break our character because we're running out of time here a little quickly. I think, how much time do we have left?
Yeah, they have, and it's 11:12, I believe.
Yeah, we got
Yeah, 11,
12.
About 20 minutes. Okay, well, here's what we want to do, though. We want to discuss a little bit of what we did. And I'm asking now the students in Ms. Parker's class, what did you learn from this, from what we just did? Did you learn anything that you didn't know already? Tell me what you learned. What did you...
A lot of it was stuff that I think we had heard of. It's just, it went more into detail that we didn't.
Okay.
We haven't gone.
Can you be specific, maybe, about
No.
something that surprised you, maybe? Is there something that you didn't know?
Like, were you surprised that he is up here calling the actual black man and the only one in this really, part of this movement? I mean, did it surprise you?
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
I mean, what do y'all think? Like, take off your stereotypes of, what people who, I'm a blonde-haired hippie. I really just want everybody in the world to have peace. If that means that we're fighting a war over in Vietnam, or if that means you're talking about, the Civil War. In terms of just all wars, I think that everybody should that's just an opinion that I became. That doesn't mean that that's true or what I really think. But it's dealing with living histories and stuff. This is a different one where he really led the class. Y'all were immersed into it. But is there anything that surprised anybody about it, what y'all just saw?
What stood out, I guess, is the question. What stood out? Oh, wow.
Juliana, what you got?
How hard the people that thought that we shouldn't be fighting in the war, and people that thought that all able-bodied men, I guess, should be fighting in the war. I didn't realize that it was so, in each other's faces,
Deathly in each other's faces.
Yeah.
Because the guys, the National Guard, the guardsmen who killed the protesters, the guardsmen basically represented those who believed in the war, right? and they were already in uniform. So, and here's kids out there saying, we're burning our draft cards. I don't think they just shot them because it was a law enforcement. They had some passion about this. Here's some cowards, right? We're shooting you because you're cowards. But unfortunately, it wasn't just young men that got killed. Has anybody seen the famous picture of the girl down like this going, it's a real, you'll probably show it at some point.
Yes, they'll see it.
At Kent State, where her friend is just laying there. She's dead. And it's like, what happened? This is a college campus, you know? How did these people end up dead in a college campus?
Y'all gotta realize that over 4 million college students protested the war in Vietnam. So just imagine, like, you know, there's only 20 of us in here, but imagine like a whole group of college individuals. So they're knowledgeable, and you know, some of them, like Torres, he believes that they're gonna go fight. Okay, but you also have, you know, people across America who are just coming together because of the issues of the time. So we're dealing with civil rights, which happened early 1960s. Is like what you were talking. I think you made a reference to it, but what you said earlier was very good. You know, able-bodied men. You picked up on that, and I like that you saw that. Okay.
Somebody else. What did you learn? What did you discover?